Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our day number 57, lesson number 57. We are learning at this stage how to multiply and divide algebraic expressions. Multiply and divide 51 through 80. Day number 51 through 80, today is 57. Here's the problem for today. 3mn times 2m squared n minus 4m to the third. Now, if it helps you, if it makes it easier for you, you can put a parenthesis around it. It makes no difference. It doesn't. We did not do anything to it. Parentheses are only for convenience, to keep things separate. For example, watch this here. For example, if I tell you 5 times 3 plus 2 plus 4, let's say. Well, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. So this is 5 times 9. We could have written this 5 times 9 like this, or we could have written it like this, or we could have written it simply as 5 times 9, put the parentheses around both of them, or we could have put 5 times 9 and put parentheses outside. They are all the same thing. It doesn't matter. The parentheses, where you put the parentheses is up to you. It's a matter of convenience, as I said. Convenience for the writer, whatever writer feels like doing, they all mean the same thing here. So for example, if I were to put the parentheses around this guy, it wouldn't change anything. It would still be the same thing. It will still be 5 times 3, 5 times 2 and 5 times 4. 5 times 3 plus 5 times 2 plus 5 times 4 should give you 5 times 9. Of course it should give you 5 times 9 because 5 times 9 tells us that we have 9 5s. Of course we have 9 5s. 4 of them are here, 2 of them are here, 3 of them are here. 4, 2, 6 and then 3 more. 9 5s. 15 plus 10 plus 20. 15 plus 10 plus 20 should give us 45. 20 plus 10 is 30. 30 plus 15 is... So this, putting a parenthesis around this 5 makes no difference. Do you understand? Sometimes I see students who have some strange reason, this fear and this trepidation that this parentheses are some secret code in the algebra and we couldn't go around putting them willy-nilly. By all means, go around putting willy-nilly if you find it convenient. If it makes it easier for you to see with your eyes from far away that this whole quantity is being multiplied by this quantity, then put a parenthesis around it. So here what we have is 3 times m times 3mn times 2m squared n, and then we have 3mn. This one has a positive sign in front of it, this one has a positive sign in front of it. So positive times positive is just going to be positive. This has positive sign in front of it, this has positive sign in front of it. But this guy has a negative sign in front of it, so we have to be careful. So we have plus 3 times mn times minus 4m cubed. Minus 4m cubed. That's all. Now we have to simply open it up. 3 times 2 is 6. Positive 6 of course, and when it's positive you don't have to keep putting positive. It's understood, the default in algebra, in mathematics is that if there is no sign in front of something, it's positive, because if it were negative we would have put negative. So 3 times 2 is 6, m times m squared is m raised to 1 plus 2, which is m cubed. So m cubed. And n times n times n is going to be n squared. N times n is going to be n squared. So that takes care of this part. Let's move on to this part now. 3 times negative 4 is going to be negative 12. So now we have to go back and change our sign. This positive is going to become negative. Because 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Negative 12. And then m times m cubed. M times m cubed is going to be m raised to 4. M raised to 4. And there is no n in this guy. There is no n here, so this n just comes by itself. And that's it. That's your answer. That's our answer. Let's do one more, shall we? Let's do one more. We're done with this one, so I'm going to erase it. I suppose we could do it on the bottom if you like. No, let's erase it. Eight times c times d times c squared d minus 3 c cubed d squared. Again, it's understood that this 8cd means 8 times c times d, and it is understood that this quantity is being multiplied by whatever follows. So again, if you wanted to put parentheses around it, if it makes it easier for you to see that this whole thing is being multiplied by this term, if it makes it easier, go ahead and put the parentheses around it. Nobody's going to say anything. So the first term is going to be 8 times c times d times c squared d, and then again we have a positive in front of this guy. This guy had a positive, so positive times positive was positive. This is positive in front of it. But the next one is 8cd, which was positive, which is why the sign wasn't there. But now this guy is negative, negative 3c cubed d squared. See, all of these positive signs are annoying. When they're positive, you don't have to put the positive in front of it. Everybody knows that if there is no sign, it's positive. It's annoying. Otherwise you end up putting too many signs. The rule in mathematics is that by default, if there is no sign, it is positive. Default was the word. The word default is an interesting word. I have not covered it in the vocabulary videos. So, and for those of you who do not know what I'm talking about right now, in addition to these algebra videos that you're watching right now on the YouTube, I have videos on geometry. So if you want to learn geometry, you can watch the geometry videos. Same exact system applies for the tag. Just type in KeshwaniPrep-geometry-day 13 or 12, whatever it is, and it will pop right up. So far I have about 30 videos in geometry. And similarly, I have put together videos of vocabulary words that appear on a regular basis on these exams, GRE, GMAT, SAT, TOEFL, because that's what I do. I tutor for those tests. So if you want to improve your vocabulary, you can watch the vocabulary videos. Just type in KeshwaniPrep-vocab. Don't spell out the word vocabulary, just vocab-day, right here, like here, KeshwaniPrep-vocab-day 11, and you will learn the word penultimate. I have not covered the word default in the videos, which I intend to cover in the future very soon. I want to cover those words because of the fact that this word has two meanings. One meaning of the word default is how I used it here. By default, if there is no sign, it's positive. For example, if I just put down here 3, well, it's a positive 3. Why? Because if it were negative 3, I would have put negative in front of it. It's positive 3 by default. By default simply means something that happens automatically without having to say so. In the computer, when you turn your computer on, the very first drive that your computer goes to read something is called the default drive. Usually it's a C drive, and that's called the default drive because you're not telling the computer where to go. So therefore it assumes that since you're not telling them which drive to go to, it assumes that you want it to go to C. If you wanted it to go to some other drive, you would have to type it in, D drive or A drive or whatever it is. If you don't say anything, it usually goes to the default drive, which is usually C drive. The second meaning of the word default, that's the first meaning of the word default. The second meaning of the word default is when you fail to fulfill your financial obligation. If you take a loan out from the bank and you're supposed to make certain payments every month or every week or whatever it is, and you stop making your payments, you defaulted on your loan. A lot of people are defaulting these days on their mortgage loan. And the result, of course, is a foreclosure. So if you do not make your loan payment, if you do not fulfill your financial promises, then that's called defaulting. Do you understand? It doesn't even have to be financial. It could be any kind of promise. If you don't fulfill your obligation, then you're defaulting. How did we get into this thing? Don't ask me. By default, if no sign is put in front of it, it's positive. So here is positive. So that's all. Now we have to do it out. 8, this one only has 1 in front of it, so 8 times 1 is 8. C times C squared, C times C squared is going to be C cubed. D times D is going to be D squared. So that takes care of this part. Let's move on to the next one. Positive 8 times negative 3 is going to give us our negative 24. And C times C cubed is going to give us C to the 4th. And D times D squared is going to give us D to the 3rd. That's it. That's your answer. That's our answer for that problem. I'm going to call it a day today. I will see you tomorrow on day number 58. If you do this work with me every day on a regular basis, by every day I mean without skipping any days in the series, and if you do every single problem with me, technically speaking, you should be doing this problem twice. First, as I set up the problem, you should pause the video and do it yourself. Once you're done doing yourself, then you resume the video and do it again with me to make sure that you get the same answer. And if you do all that work and if you do every single problem, by the end of the course, you will have learned your elementary algebra. Your fear of algebra will be gone forever. But it requires work and it requires time. I'm done with the sermon, okay? I'm in. I'll see you tomorrow on day number 58. Okay, bye.